To rework, buff, or nerf characters has been a recent topic when it comes to Marvel Rivals, and I truly think it's a reasonable topic. A lot of the characters since Season 0 have remained at the top, while others slowly drift to the bottom, and it seems like a lot of characters are getting a lot more love than some of the other ones. And today, I'm going to be giving you my honest opinion about every single character in Marvel Rivals, whether they need a buff, a nerf, or maybe even a rework. And this is a completely opinion-based video, and I would love to hear what you guys have to think in the comments down below. What heroes do you think need to be buffed? What heroes do you think need to be nerfed? And of course, if you want to see some heroes reworked, who do you think they should be? But that's enough about that. Let's dive straight into the video. Now, I have this little tier list set up where we have nerf, buff, rework, team up, and is probably a fine hero. Now, this video is all going to be condensed into just one long video because it's going to be hard to break up each section because we're just going to go in order based on what is on this list. But let's get started right away with Adam Warlock. Now, Adam Warlock is a very interesting character. I think he's a great off-healer. I think he is fine, but I think he does need to be looked at a little bit more. Maybe it's some sort of nerf. Yes, he has his fight and everything, but I think the soul bond ability needs to be looked at. Maybe we need to adjust it a bit. Soul Bond is a very strong ability. Res is a pretty big game changer, and I think we have to address that the game is just an ultimate game. Mechanics and everything else about it isn't as important as just having your ultimate. People can say, oh, this game's all about mechanics and this and that, but personally and truly honestly, the game in a simple version is just about your ults. Getting it picked early doesn't really change the outcome of fights because it's all about your ultimate and team fight slop. So I think adjusting how you fight in big team scenarios is a major factor. So I think nerfing him in some way might be possible. That being said, we look at a character like Black Panther, and I think he needs to be reworked and buffed. I think they need to change how his kit plays because the character right now is not in the best scenario. And I think, again, some sort of change needs to be done. I'm not entirely sure what needs to be done, but I would love to see this character played more. Now, people can complain about, like, oh, he shouldn't be able to one-tap a support, but I think this character requires a certain amount of skill and understanding to really execute certain one-shot combos, and to be able to get in, get out without dying is a huge obstacle to say. So I think having a rework / buff idea is definitely a must. Again, I'm going through all these. It might not be the perfect outcome of these characters, or I might not know exactly what the changes are needed. Like, for instance, I'm saying a rework to Black Panther, but I'm not really sure what the reworks should be. It's more or less like the character should see a rework so he gets more value. Now, Black Widow. I think Black Widow's fine. They could honestly nerf her. She is rather strong. I think in order to nerf her, I don't think she should have a stun. I don't think the character should have a stun. I don't think a sniping duelist that is supposed to be playing at range should be the best anti-dive character. Duck, how is Black Widow a anti-dive character? She literally dies to dive. Well, she has a stun ability that just knocks up your dive. This is the whole idea. The character should be kind of like a glass cannon. Similar, I mean, there's actually all the long-range duelists they all have the knock up or stun to save themselves or a self-peel. I think when you have these high-burst duelists that do a ton of damage, there should be reasons why the character shouldn't be picked. She shouldn't have a glass cannon designed plus a way to self-peel. I think you should just go for the glass cannon so that good players are rewarded with excellent place shots, and if you get dived on or you're out of position, you are actually punished. Characters like Widow, Hela, Phoenix, Hawkeye, they're all rewarded because they have self-peel, they have the ability to jump away, or they have some type of movement to keep themselves alive. The whole idea is that you have a strategist supporting your long-range duelist so you can put in the work and put in the extra healing, damage boost, whatever the case may be, and you have your healers or you have your frontline peel for that long-range hyper-carry duelist. But when you have these duelists that have self-peel, it kind of just doesn't work that way. So I think her overall kit is fine, but I think the big thing that needs to be nerfed is her knockup. I just don't think she should have it. but that's just my opinion. Captain America, I honestly think is fine. Cloak and Dagger, I think they're fine. I wouldn't mind seeing Cloak and Dagger have an actual team-up ability. I think that would be cool to see. Some type of actual team-up. Doctor Strange, I think he's fine. Groot definitely needs a nerf. He's very strong right now, especially in Season 6.5. The character is very strong. Hawkeye, he did recently get nerfed, although the nerfs that he got weren't crazy at all. I think in the hands of a very skilled player, he's very good. Your best course of action when it comes to playing against a Hawkeye is to have a Captain America on your team or have some of these big vanguards just jump on top of him. But the problem is he's just one of those characters like I've been talking about with Widow, is he has a ton of self-peel opportunities. And if you can have all these big self-peel opportunities, the characters just keep shining. So I think we should see a nerf to Hawkeye. I think even more so than what he has now. Now people are like, oh, he just got nerfed. Yeah, but those nerfs didn't really do anything or change the problem or outcome of the character. He could still one-shot. You could either look at a rework or a nerf. I'm going to be looking at the nerf section. Hela needs to be nerfed, and I think her kit with her ultimate needs to be looked at a little bit more. Hulk's design is very good, and I think it's fine. I think it rewards a lot of skill. Hulk is a very skillful character. Juggling characters in your ultimate form, very impressive. Understanding the mechanics of going into the enemy's backline, being a disruptor, and getting out with your HP is a big thing. For Iron Fist, his kit is fine, and I think rewards good skill. Iron Man should definitely look at a better team-up, a buff, and maybe even a rework. This character hasn't been good since Gamma, in my eyes, so I think he should be looking at all three of these. So we're going to put him at the rework here. For Jeff, this little annoyance. I think Jeff... Jeff could look at a rework. I think Jeff needs a rework. Mainly, yes, he already got reworked and buffed and nerfed and whatever. But it's more or less like... Again, the game is all about ultimates, and I think I really just want this game more to shine in mechanics than just ultimates. But when you have an ultimate that just eats the entire enemy team and you just jump off the map, or you eat two people and you just jump off the map, that doesn't really reward anything in terms of mechanics or skill. That's just you pressing an ult button, eating two people, getting out alive, dodging as best as you can, and just jumping off the map. I don't think it's a character that really rewards anything. I think it needs some like fundamental changes to its kit, so it's actually more enjoyable to play. I wish games had more of a learning curve. Now Loki is a interesting character, but I do think he needs some changes. I'm not entirely sure what the changes should be. Like, his whole concept and character design is really cool and it's good. So I think he's fine in my eyes. Luna Snow, she's got nerfed a lot. Invisible is better than her. She's a very interesting character in a very interesting scenario. I think she's all right. I don't know, like, is fine. You could argue she could be nerfed, which is perfectly fine. It's okay. Magic, I think, could use a little love, so maybe some changes. Magneto, I want this man nerfed. This man has been strong since Season 0, and yes, he's a necessary evil in this game. He's a character that pretty much needs everything, but there just needs to be something done. I think the issue with Magneto is that his primary and secondary attack just do too much damage. And for a Vanguard that is not necessarily there to dish out a ton of damage, but really to just be in the front line and absorb a ton of damage, I think the character does a little too much damage. So I think some type of nerf is fine. I don't want his utility necessarily nerfed. I mainly want his damage output nerfed. That's the big thing. Moving on to Mantis. I think Mantis is fun because she's actually pretty cool. It rewards like decent aim with healing output potential. So I think that's pretty cool. I think this character should be deleted from the game, Moon Knight. It's just a gimmick character, I'll be honest. Penny, a really good Penny Parker is fine. Or Penny, Namor, sorry. Holy. Namor. I think he's fine right now, but he's annoying when he has to team up with Hela. Like, without Hela, he's fine. With Hela, he's pretty strong and pretty broken. Usually you don't play a Namor without a Hela, but sometimes you can get away with it. My opinion on him is with team up, he should be nerfed somehow. I'm not entirely sure how it should be nerfed, but I think in some way he has to be nerfed so that all this damage isn't getting output. So I think he's fine without the team up, but with the team up he needs a nerf. I don't know how they can nerf it, but this is just my take in my opinion. So Penny, I think Penny is fine. She actually rewards skill and like understanding of the map, understanding of just how characters react and act as one. Because a good Penny is pretty unstoppable. A mediocre Penny or a Penny that kind of knows what they're doing isn't that impactful. More so is just a little bit of a nuisance, but you pick characters like Moon Knight, you pick characters like Punisher, like Winter Soldier to counter that. So Penny is, honestly, a skillful character in my opinion, because you need a lot of knowledge on the game. I think she's fine. Now, to play her at an extremely high level, extremely well all the time. Now, Psylocke. She's still rather strong. And I wouldn't mind... It's just like, I don't know what they do with... They keep like changing her numbers. So it's like interesting. I don't know. She still words are hard. She still remains at the very top of, just how strong the character is in general. So I wouldn't mind seeing some changes made to the character overall. I don't know. I think maybe nerfing her kit a little bit would be maybe good. Yeah. Now Rocket. Rocket's design is fine, but I think he should be nerfed a little bit and adjusted with his numbers. But overall, his design is good. So moving on to Scarlet Witch, I want a full rework of the character. I think the character needs to be changed fully to actually be able to do what she needs to do. I don't think the character has a really good vision or honestly full kit in general. It's just the problem with auto aim characters is if you buff them too much, they will absolutely just run your game down and just delete the entire enemies and everything. That's why I don't think auto aim characters are ever a good idea in video games. Mainly because like if you buff them, they just become too strong. You saw that back in Overwatch. I think it was Overwatch 1 with Symmetra when she was actually extremely strong. When her primary attack was an auto aim, and as she did damage, it increased the damage. That was a problem. But since then, Overwatch has changed how Symmetra is played over the years. But I think they kind of have to look at that and understand that I think the character has to be entirely reworked to actually fit the character into the game. So I think having this auto-aim character is not necessarily the best. Following that, we come to Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's actually fine. I think he's a super rewarding character for players that are very skilled at the game, and a good Spider-Man can do a lot of damage to an enemy team. So honestly, I think he's fine. Squirrel Girl, again, I wouldn't mind a rework or a nerf or a buff, but again, it's just one of those cases kind of like Scarlet. If you buff them too hard because it's such large AoE projectiles, it can be pretty scary of what you have to deal with. So I think maybe just looking at maybe a new team up or something might be the play. So I think that's fine. Star-Lord to me is a fine character. Storm now is fine. Punisher, I think he needs a more useful team up, honestly, than the one he has with Daredevil. I think Thor is fine. I think Venom is basically fine. Winter Soldier could use a nerf. Let's be honest, the character's pretty broken. Wolverine, hard to say. In full honesty, I think Wolverine could use a little bit. The character is just not the best in my eyes, because I think there's other characters that do a lot of better than him. So I'm going to put him as fine for now, but you can let me know what you think in the comments down below. Mr. Fantastic, he's fine. He's kind of like a pseudo tank, but honestly, I wouldn't mind them reworking him and putting him to an actual Vanguard role. I think that's fine. Invisible Woman needs a nerf. Human Torch could see some love. Not too much like when he was completely dominating a few seasons ago, but some love to where he's actually pretty suitable to be played, because right now there's no reason to pick him. Thing, I think, is fine. Emma Frost needs a nerf still. Ultron, I really like Ultron. His kit's fine. I don't know exactly what they need to do. I think the big thing, so the issue with Ultron, now people could say, oh, he's been buffed, he's done this and that. Always the issue with Ultron was not about the amount of healing or what his ultimate did or anything like that. The issue was his actual primary attack did a lot of damage. A lot more than a lot of the other duelists. That's why a few seasons ago, you saw triple strategist, and the main triple strategist off strategist was Ultron, and he's basically acting as another DPS because just the amount of damage he output, how fast he got his ultimate. And I think the issue with Ultron is just the amount of damage he does. I really want this game to really shine more. I think it has to be a lot more rewarding for your specific roles. If that makes sense. I don't know. So Phoenix, I think Phoenix needs to be nerfed. Now, she did get nerfed to 250 HP. That wasn't really a nerf. The issue with her is just the damage she does. The amount of damage. She has self-peel with both a stun, a shift, which is her teleport, a flight. She also has an ultimate that she goes up. She can destroy everything. She can do a ton of damage, and she comes back down at full HP. So I think the character as a kit just needs to be turned down a lot. The problem with her is just the amount of damage, the amount of self-peel she has is pretty impressive. So definitely needs to be looked at. Moving on to Blade, I want to see Blade buffed because I still don't think he's that good. I think he has a lot of potential to shine, but I understand why he's not being buffed because anti-heal in games like these can be a little bit scary, especially the amount of anti-heal he outputs. But I think it's okay to buff him to really just see what he can do. For Angela, I think Angela's very good. I think it's actually a pretty dynamic character. Not too many people play her, but she's played a lot in higher elo and pro play, which is cool to see. I think a very good Angela is very annoying, and because of that, I think she's fine, but she could be looked at for possible future nerfs. Daredevil is fine, but he could be looked at for nerfs. Overall, his kit is fine. I think his damage numbers could be turned down. For Gambit, needs to be nerfed. They're not nerfing the right things on Gambit. This character is still strong than when he was when he first came out. Rogue. I wouldn't mind a buff to Rogue. I think that's fine. Yeah. That's really about it. So Deadpool could get buffed. I think tank Deadpool is fine. I think duelists and strategist ones could be looked at for being buffed. And I think Elsa needs to be nerfed. That's kind of what my thoughts are. Again, if you made it this far into the video, I explained each and every single character of why I think they should be placed where they are. And that's just all in my opinion. And again, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think it's fair to have these type of discussions just to see what people think about different characters. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion. All are welcome. Again, you can let me know in the comments down below. But this has been Duck Films. I hope you have a great and safe day, and I'll catch you in the next one.